Hello there, little bean. Hello. It's me again, Ayame. We're on episode 5 now, and if you've been consistent, you've heard me 5 times this month. 5? Month? No. 5 times in general for a good 30-minute stretch. Isn't that fantastic? Isn't that so lovely that you're listening to me and I'm talking to you? I've still got these feckin' eyelashes on. I'm feeling like a hot girl. Today, I'm speaking quite softly because I'm going to be shouting at you soon. You're probably thinking, Ayame, why? Why are you going to shout at me? For your own benefit. I want you to be a better version of yourself. So I'm going to be shouting at you within the next... What's the time now? I'm going to say within the next 10 minutes. Yeah. Shall we begin? I think so. This is episode 5 of In Ayame We Trust. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once I caught a fish alive. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Music and also on Spotify. And if you want to watch it visually, you can do so on YouTube, Ayame.P. If you want to submit an agony or just kind of get in touch, you can do so on my website, everythingayame.com. God, so nice to hear from you. Now, today's episode is about showing up as the person you want to be. And I'll delve into that more, into what that means. But first, I'll begin with a little anecdote about my week. Last week, I felt like I was really slacking, I'm going to say. Usually, I'm very much on top of things that happen in my week because I plan my week at the start of the week. I plan my days at the start of the day, yada, yada, yada. I start them off well. Ha, 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 ha. But last week... things were happening and I was behind them. I was reacting to things as they were happening as opposed to setting myself up before they were happening, if that makes sense. And I didn't like that. In addition to that, this morning, I also woke up and realised that there's a lot of goals I'd set myself with that 13-week plan. A lot of tasks that I'd set myself to do that I was behind on. And I was thinking, what's going on here, Ayame? What's going on here? I had a chat with myself this morning and I realised that I wasn't being who I am meant to be. And that sounds really la-di-da and fa-hi-ha and hoopy-hoo. But what I mean by that is the person I want to be and the person I intend to be is a very organised person, a woman that has her stuff ready and raring to go. I know where I need to be, when I need to be there. I know what I need to do, how I'm going to do it. That's the type of person I intend to be. And that's how I, up until this point, have lived my life. I live my life fully aiming to be that kind of gal. And last week, I wasn't that kind of girl. I was letting things happen and then reacting to them as opposed to having my finger in the pie and making it happen. And I think the reason I had been in this lull for a couple of weeks, because I say last week, it's actually been a couple of weeks. Obviously, I'm not going to blame my heartbreak. It's crippling. I'm in a crippling heartbreak. In fact, I'm actually depressed. I'm so sad right now. I'm not. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. God, I'm okay. No, I'm not going to blame my heartbreak. What I am going to blame it on is the fact that I have a birthday soon. And by soon, I mean next month. February 13th, if you all want to buy me a gift. I'm in the market for something pink. Thank you. No, so I guess, told myself for the last few weeks, things I had to do, I can do them. I'll start properly 27 because that's like when my new year begins, my new age year. So I'll start when I'm 27. When I'm 27, I'll do this and I'll be this kind of woman. And I got myself into that headspace for a bit. But that's not how I like to think, and nor is that how I intend to think. Because if I'm going to start something, I might as well start it now. I can't wait until next week or 2 weeks. If I want to be the type of person that goes to the gym, I'm not going to wait until this is in place before I do that. I'm just the type of person that goes to the gym. If I want to be the type of person that manages their finances, I'm not going to wait until I earn this amount of money. I'm just going to manage my finances now. Do you know what I mean? So what I was saying to myself is that when I hit 27, when I hit 27, I'm going to do all this. No! Sorry, I just burped. No. I intend to be a very organized woman, a woman that has a routine and sticks to her routine, who has priorities in life and makes sure that those priorities are prioritized. That is health and fitness, that is family, and that's finance. And therefore, when I wake up in the morning, I make sure that my day is set out in order to be that woman. I plan my day accordingly. I react to things accordingly. I react to things in a way that the woman that I envision I am would react to things. And the more I do that, the more I become that woman. I started I kind of came to that realization, I'm going to say a year ago, that the more I stop saying, okay, when this happens, I'm going to do this. And when I get here, then I'm going to be more happy. So I'm able to do this. And when I have this amount of money, I'm going to buy this because that will help with this and I'll save this much. And what happens is you set the goal so far back that you don't start working on it until you potentially reach that prerequisite, that requirement that you need to have in place before you're able to start working on a goal, as opposed to just starting. Just beginning, envisioning yourself as that kind of person that does this kind of thing, that wakes up at this time and does this and speaks to these people and puts himself out there. It's almost like there was a TikTok, I think, of this girl. She was talking to her friend saying when you channeling someone when you're about to do something. So when you're about to do a test, you channel someone that you know that's really smart. You channel them and you kind of embody them. When you're about to go into like a serious meeting, you channel someone that's really confident in meetings and you embody them. It's essentially that, but believing that that person is already you, that you already have those skills and qualities. You're just entering that part of your brain, becoming the woman or man or person, becoming the person that you want to be and showing up as that person and reacting to things the way that person would. And in the end, you are that person, if that makes sense. So that's what I wanted to speak about today, showing up as the person you want to be. This is what I've kind of redirected myself to do this week. And how I did that, let's talk about it. So this morning when I realized I wasn't showing up as the Ayame, the high value Ayame I wish to be, what I did was I made a list of daily habits, so to speak. I made a list of things that I thought that type of person would do every day. And I encourage you to do it. So I just made a list on a piece of paper of about 6 to 7 things that I think that person does. And it's something small as that person wakes up at this time and they get up out of bed. That person drinks this much amount of water. That person, for example, I want to film 1 piece of content at least per day, which I'm doing now, but also for TikTok and Instagram. That person reads for a certain amount of time each day. That person goes out for a walk for a certain amount of time each day, and kind of connects with nature for a certain amount of time each day. That person, I've decided, because my screen time, God, goodly gillick, it's actually embarrassing. I actually am addicted to my phone. What the hell? What the hell am I addicted to my phone? That's disgusting. This little piece of phone. Disgusting. I can't live without it. I can't breathe without it. I wake up. First thing I do, look at my phone. Oh, let me go and scroll through this. No! Wake up, look at my phone. Who's texted me? No one, I have no boyfriend. Wake up, look at my phone. Oh, can I do this? Why am I so addicted to this piece of little metal thing? Disgusting. So, the woman I expect to be puts her phone down at 9 p.m. and doesn't pick it up until 9 a.m. That's a 12-hour shift of no phone. And that's who I want to be. So I've written down those daily habits that I think that Ayame, that high value, high productivity Ayame does. And I'm going to do them every day so that I am her. And I don't have to wait until I reach a certain amount of followers before I film 1 piece of content per day. I don't have to wait until I've got a specific routine. I wait until I've started a specific new job before I start waking up at 8 a.m. I don't have to wait until I've finished a specific series before I put my screen time down. Put my phone down at 9 p.m. I'm just going to do it because I intend to be that person now. Now, I feel like I'm rambling about the same thing, but what I want to finish on is a quote. I've forgotten whether I've lost the DM. Someone DM'd it to me, and I'm so sorry, my darling babe. If you see this or watch this, if you listen to this and you hear and you're like, retweet me, I said that, then you did. I love you. Thank you. And she said that she read a quote that said something along the lines of, we spend our lives becoming who we are, which I thought was lovely. We're always on this journey to find ourselves, but we're already there. We are already ourselves. We already have the keys to unlock those parts of ourselves that I want to exist or even don't want to exist. And I think the enjoyment of the journey, I guess, but the importance of the journey is making sure that you know where those keys are and using them when you need to use them. So I'm using that key now to be high value Ayame. And I hope you all unlock your doors today. I would highly recommend that list of just building a habits list of what that person does, that person that you'd like to be, what they do. And then you become them because you're doing it, if that makes sense. I'm going to burp. No, she's shy. Oh, wait. Oh. Sorry, I think something came up with that one. I'm so sorry. That's disgusting. I just had some toast, so it does taste a bit like toast. Anyway, the moral of that segment is figure out and decide who you wish to be and then be them. Oh, let me narrow that quote down even more. Decide who you wish to be and be them. Now, if I find any of you using that quote and not tagging me, unless it's already a quote, I don't care, it's mine now. If I find any of you use that quote and not tag me, I'm going to find myself a good ass lawyer and we'll be knocking at your door. Just kidding. I want everyone to succeed. So that's a very short and brief part to the first segment in I don't know if there's more I really need to speak about. A lot of it as well in showing up as the person you want to be is all about also, and it helps with confidence, is channeling a confident person. Channeling that version of that confident Ayame that would be able to walk into the weights area of the gym when it's absolutely chock full of men and they're all, you know what I mean? Channeling her because she goes to the gym and she doesn't give a hoot and heck about those men. You know what I mean? I do that quite often, but I genuinely don't give a hoot and heck about those men. Oh, I don't get. Do you know why? Because they stink. They smell like arse, first of all. They give me the ick because I know that when you just did that squat there, I know you let out a tiny little fart. I know you did because you were straining too much. Another reason why they don't intimidate me, their shoes. Have you ever seen a man's shoes when he's... Have you ever seen a man's shoes when he's in the gym? Look at them. Look at the shoes that men wear in the gym and ask yourself, why the hell am I embarrassed to be around you? In fact, you should be embarrassed to be around me with those Asics. Anyway, another reason why I don't feel embarrassed to go to the gym section. Actually, maybe I'll talk about that next week, about feeling more confident in the gym. Let me know if you'd like that, actually. Well, that's been my segment for this. It's been my, it's not really been a rant. I didn't really scream at you, actually. Do better. Do better. Be better. Because at the same time, it is, it's near the end of the week. We kind of just want to rest. Now we're going to move on to the agonies. And the agonies, some of them actually I can't really help you. You do need to see a therapist, and I'll say which ones. But other than that, we're going to move on to some agonies which are talking about mental well-being and being in a good mental place. And yes, okay. Well, that's it. Now, so I've got 3 here. One of them I can't help you. I'm literally just doing this to tell you that you need therapy. The other 2 are about self-esteem and building self-esteem and working on esteeming oneself. You know what I mean? Okay. Dear Ayame, I struggle with my esteem. I don't think I'm pretty. However, sometimes I find myself looking good. Okay, you're crazy. I hang out with my friends. We take some pictures. I look at them and think, am I that ugly? And the mirror is lying. First of all, you're an idiot. I'm 22 now. Ugh, you're a baby. Never approached by any male of any shape or form. That's hilarious. Any shape or form. And I think this is proving that I am in fact not pretty, or is that not an indicator? You stupid idiot girl. Sorry, I'm going to scream at you now. You think that whether or not a man comes up to you defines whether or not you are pretty? You're insane. You are insane. You are stupid. And I am not accepting that. Let me be nice. No, Ayame, be nice. I'll be nice. Sweetie, men... Men literally see donuts and think, oh God, I bet I could stick my penis in that. Men will look at a flower, a beautiful, well-bloomed rose, and just be like, oh yes, a flower. Men will, for example, call Margot Robbie mid. Margot Robbie. Now, I hope that answers your question as to whether or not that is an indicator. Whether or not, if a man finds you attractive or comes up to you and says, oh, let me chat to you, Miss Thing. I want you to really think about those 3 points I've just said. Those 3 little examples I've just said. And really think to yourself, okay, does this determine whether or not I am pretty because a man hasn't chirped me before? Okay. Now, I feel as though you are going through this in your head and realizing that you're a twat. No, Ayame, be nice. Be nice. You're a beautiful twat. You're a lovely little stupid girl. And one thing I have to stress, they don't clean their asses properly. They do not wash their asses properly. Some of them don't even wash their legs because they think that the soap just runs down. That's the kind of level we are dealing with. And you are putting all of your feelings of self-esteem and beauty upon a man with an unwashed arse crack who will look at a beautiful flower in bloom and say, I don't know what that's called. I don't know what the flower is. Who will call Margot Robbie mid. Who will wear skinny jeans despite having spindly little legs. I'm going to say this and I'm going to be actually very aggressive now, sweetheart. I don't know your name because it's anonymous. If you carry on being a stupid little bitch, doing that kind of stuff, holding all of your value and placing it upon a man, good gracious God, you're 22, my darling. And I'm going to scream at you now so that you don't carry this for the rest of your 20s. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now I'm going to get a little bit softer and nicer and talk about your self-esteem. That was aggressive. I will say I give advice aggressively because I care. I'm going to say that it's because I care, because it infuriates me. I don't even have to look at you and I know you are beautiful. I know you are beautiful just in how you write. And you're 22 and you're young and you're thinking these things and it makes me furious. It makes me so angry because there is... Anyway, sometimes I find myself looking good. When are those times? What are you wearing in those times? How do you look at yourself in those times? How are you feeling in those times? When you said, I don't think I'm pretty. However, sometimes I find myself looking good. So you do think you're pretty. Shut up. Of course you think you're pretty. You are beautiful. Anyway, what are you wearing at the times that you're feeling good? Who are you around at the times that you're feeling good? And I say that to mean that, are you perhaps hanging out with people that don't make you feel good? And it may not, and that it's also the type of people I can't stand that I used to be friends with that would complain about their body whilst I have the exact same features of their body. They would complain about having a specific hair type and I would have that specific hair type. They would complain about the things that I also have and in turn would make me feel as though, oh God, maybe that is awful. No, it's not, sweetie. They're just weird and they have incredibly low self-esteem. Don't be that person. But what are you wearing when you feel high levels of self, when you feel like you like yourself? What are you wearing? Who are you with? What mood are you in? Where are you? Assess these things and then just continue to put yourself in those environments a lot more often. And one of the things that I always recommend when it comes to self-esteem and building a love of how you look is looking at yourself. And I know that especially for people that have incredibly low self-esteem and are not in a position where they love themselves and look upon themselves with kindness, it can be quite difficult. But I encourage you to look at yourself, look in the mirror, stare and look at yourself, and force yourself, if it must be such a force yourself to just say one good thing that about what you see looking back at you. Whether it's, I really love that my hair is this color. It doesn't even have to be, I love the shape of my hair, I love my hair. I'd like that my hair is this color. I like my eyes are that color. Interesting that my nose is shaped that way, because that's similar to whose nose is also shaped that way. And even if you really struggle to find something positive to say about your appearance, just look at yourself and say something positive about you in general. I really like how kind I am in these situations. I really like how well I did in that exam. I love how committed I am when it comes to studying. I love that, I'm able to do this really quickly. Building your self-esteem for me, I think, is imperative. It's something that's incredibly important, especially if you're in your early 20s. But one trick, so to speak, that I think helps with that is looking at yourself in the mirror and being kind to yourself and giving yourself a compliment, because that's the most important person you'll ever get a compliment from. It doesn't matter if a man has come up to you or not. In fact, a man could come up to you next week and be like, yeah, I like your face. That's nice. It doesn't matter if you don't like your face. It's so important, because if someone, regardless of where the compliment could come from bloody Jacob Elordi. Hi, Jacob. That he could come up to you, or whoever you find attractive, I don't know. They could come up to you and say, God, you're so pretty. And that compliment really doesn't really matter unless you actually believe it. And therefore, the most important person you can ever be complimented by is yourself. Because all other compliments, they are just so unimportant, because you won't actually believe it. The most important person that you must hear a compliment from is yourself. So stand in front of the mirror, look at yourself, and tell yourself what you like about yourself. Force yourself. Stand in front of that mirror until you come up with something. And if it takes you that long, get a grip. Get a grip. There is something you can find. You beautiful girl. Anyway, that was aggressive, my little baby. That was really aggressive. I'm sorry. It's just because I don't want you in this headspace. I don't want you in that headspace of, one, thinking that a man has to tell you you're beautiful. Insane. You're mentally insane. And two, so important for you to, especially starting this now in your early 20s, to look at yourself and really just be your biggest fan, your own biggest fan. No one else matters. No one else matters. No other compliment matters. Nothing. Shall we go on to the second agony? Before I get into this agony, I will say that I am not a therapist, food therapist, nutritionist, and therefore this agony, I cannot fully help you. I would recommend that you go and see someone, a specialist, directly, because I'm not trained to do that, my darling. I'll try my best to give you a bit of advice and but dear Ayame, I've been struggling with binge eating disorder for the last 4 years, and I want to recover from it. But I have a problem. When I try to watch what I eat, I end up on the other side of the spectrum, over restriction, and trigger warning, starving myself. I don't know how to find that happy, healthy middle where I'm enjoying my food and not restricting myself while still being healthy. Again, you have a binge eating disorder. I would highly recommend you speak to a specialist about that. What I can say is that when I was 2018, 5 years ago, I was 22. Oh, that hurts. 5 years ago, I was 22 and I lost about 20 pounds of weight. And I noticed, when I think back at that time compared to how I kind of work on weight management now, there were points where I was using like a calorie counter, and if I had hit my specific calories, I would starve myself. Now, again, I think everything in turn links to how you view yourself, how you view your body, and how you view your overall being. The reason I no longer do that, and if I go over my calories or I don't starve myself and therefore beat myself up, is because overall I want my body to be happy regardless of how it looks. I want my overall being, I want the food that I eat to be enriching my skin and my bones and my everything. I want my body to be happy rather than hot, if that makes sense, and hot in a skinny sense, because that's what we all deem hot. Well, I say we all. There are people that are saved from that mentality. I would try, and again, and with restriction and over restricting, is any kind of restriction leads to rebellion. If you're over restricting, it becomes a cycle where you over restrict and then you end up having a Twix. And then once you've had that Twix, you're like, you stupid cow. You can't stick to one thing. And then you eat and eat and eat and eat because you're making yourself feel bad. Whereas if you kind of look at food in the sense of whatever you eat is some sort of fuel. Whether that's fuel, I eat veg to fuel this part of my body so that I get this much fiber. I eat meat so that I can, or protein, so that I can fuel this, or my muscles to do this. And I also, at times, when I feel like it, have a Twix, I have a hot chocolate, I have a donut, because that fuels my sense of, yum, 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 yum. So, as I say, I doubt that I'd be able to help you find a happy, healthy middle with just this little podcast mic and that camera. I would recommend that you go and speak to someone. But try and look at eating and say, how is my body going to benefit from this food? And it doesn't necessarily have to be a nutritional benefit. It can just be, I really would like this, so I'm just going to eat it. Because the world didn't end because I had an extra donut. The world has not ended. And in fact, you overeating one day as well does not do a thing when it comes to like your overall body composition. You could eat three chocolate bars, 3, 4, 5. You could just go eat as many chocolate bars in one day. The next day, you may feel a bit heavier, but that's just because how your body's digesting all the sugar. But you yourself, your body composition has not changed. If that's your biggest concern about your body, it has not changed. And instead, you've kind of just fulfilled a craving that you should have just, because like I said, with the over restricting, what happens is you want a cookie. And then instead of eating the cookie, you have an apple, but you're still craving a cookie. So then you think, oh, maybe it's just because I'm hungry. So then instead you have popcorn, which is like a healthy version of sweet popcorn, but it's cheap, but it's not a cookie. So then you eat something else. And then you end up eating the cookie because you're like, oh, do you know what? I just want the cookie. Just eat the cookie the first time round. Because if you want it, eat it. Living healthily and living happily is not restricted by eating within a calorie deficit or constantly eating nutrient dense foods. But do go and see someone because I can't help you. Anyway, dear Ayame. So I'm a guy in my 30s and I spent years of therapy building my confidence. All good. However, this year, I've got several amazing things happening, yet I've started to doubt myself. So do you have words of wisdom to help me and others like me reduce that bitch that is imposter syndrome? Thanks. I despise imposter syndrome and I suffer from it constantly, especially in this current job that I'm in, this career that I am venturing. I have imposter syndrome all the time. I think to myself, you don't work hard enough to be here. You should not be here. You should not be talking to this camera with this podcast mic, with a podcast, speaking to however many thousands of people. You should not. But the thing is, and the thing I've come to terms with is, I'm here. So why am I going to set myself up for failure by convincing myself I shouldn't be here and therefore not working to stay here? Why would I do that? I'm here. I got here whichever way it was. I ended up here. I intend to stay here. I'd like to stay here. In fact, I'd like to go further. So why don't I just believe that I should be here because I'm already here and then work on getting further? Believe that you are I said this, I think, a couple of episodes ago. Believe that you are in the place you're in. Why would you doubt it? You're already there. It's like doubting that these walls are white. I can see that they're white. Well, they're like a off-white. But you know what I mean? Doubting that this shirt is white. When I can see that this shirt is white, why are you doubting what actually exists? You are in that position. You got there. It's amazing that you're in that position. Well done. Congratulate yourself for being there. Well done, my darling. You belong there because you're there. That's it, really. There's nothing else other than, it's that simple. And that I've had to look at it that simply in order to kind of get past it, believing that I should be where I am because I'm there. You should definitely be, these amazing things should definitely be happening for you because they are. They're happening. So they should be. They should be doing what they are doing because they're doing it. Does that make sense? And I hope that helps. Well, that's it, isn't it? That's it. That's the episode. Now, the thing is, next week I'm going to be in Paris, and I'm going to film this podcast in Paris next week with a lovely little scenic vibe. I'm hoping I can somehow get onto the Eiffel Tower and film it from there. I'm not sure about the permissions, though. Thank you so much for listening. I will be back next week, and the week after, and the week after. I'm running out of things to talk about, though, I'll be very frank. So if you want to DM me, if you could DM me and email me, everything@Ayame.com, and just give me some topics to talk about, that'd be great. You'd be doing half of my job for me. And you guys have yourself a great week. Yeah. Love you.